Hello, welcome to Charter Local Edition Northwest. I'm Dana Cowley, and my guest today is Matt Rowe. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Matt is the mayor of Coquille and one of the younger mayors in the state of Oregon. What motivated you to run for that office?
Well, I think what motivated me is what motivates every person who, at least most good people who run for office, and that is you want to improve your community and help your community. And the city of Coquille and my entire region has struggled economically for the last 25 years, for most of my lifetime, due to the constriction of the timber industry and just the loss of our traditional agricultural jobs and logging jobs due to a mix of regulation and automation and foreign markets. And so growing up in my community, I always was civic-minded and interested in politics. And once I graduated from the school and came back home, I wanted to get involved, and so I started on my school district budget committee, and then I was elected to my city, or my area's the South Coast ESD Board of Directors, which deals with educational services for school districts like homeschooling and special needs and orthopedics and hearing aids and things of that nature, products that are, essentially very expensive for one school district to buy, but if they can all pool in, it reduces through volume the expense.
Very helpful.
And before I ran for public office, I had run political campaigns and done campaign management and political consulting. Well, the funny thing is, I had no intention at that time of running for mayor. I thought, I was going to recruit a candidate and help run them for office. And after I talked to about 6 different people, the conversation ended the same way every time. Matt, this isn't the right time for me, but you're passionate about this, you know what you're talking about. If you run, I'll put up a campaign sign, or I'll host a coffee, or I'll donate to your campaign, but I think you ought to go for it. And so after the 6th conversation, I had to come to terms with the fact that, well, I guess it is me that's going to run. And so I often joke to people, I often joke to people, I was my own 7th choice, and I ran on a platform of increasing our investment in street improvements. Our streets, like many cities, big and small, had fallen into a condition of disrepair. And most cities just do not have adequate revenue or don't make adequate investments in the upkeep, because just maintaining your roads is expensive.
It is.
And so before I became mayor, the city was investing about $100,000 a year in street improvements, which was not even remotely close to enough. No. And just having passed my 3rd budget since becoming mayor, in this year's budget, we budgeted $636,000 for street improvements. I'd like to have it closer to $1 million, but we did that without raising taxes. And we've balanced our budget. And as a matter of fact, one of the concerns I had when I got elected mayor was our city reserve fund, our emergency money, had gotten down to about $250,000 a year. And this year's budget, again, without a tax increase, we've gotten that fattened up to $654,000. And so, as far as my main campaign promises of balancing the budget without raising taxes, increasing the investment in street improvements, and strengthening our reserve, I've been very happy to report to the folks in Coquille that we're making progress, and I've kept my word. It hasn't been easy. We've had to do a lot of hard work, but we're making progress.
Well, now you're moving on until this next term. What do you want to accomplish next?
Well, like I said, I'd like to get more money for street improvements, and it's a question of where you get the money from. I'm committed to my promise of not raising taxes. I'm not going to do it. A lot of our folks in our community are struggling economically, and we have a large portion of our citizenry that are on fixed incomes. And so a tax increase is robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it's not the right way to go. I would have been happy if the state legislature would have passed an adequate transportation bill, but apparently they just didn't have it in them. But economic development is the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and every city is looking for that one giant job provider, somebody that's going to create
sustainable jobs.
And they're looking for often the big fish. My attitude has been, my city's been looking for a big fish for 25 years, and it hasn't landed on the boat. I'm willing to catch 100 small fishes. And 50 medium-sized fishes. Because if you get one major employer and then they just close down again, you're back to square one. You need to have economic diversity.
Right.
And part of what I've worked on is to try and use our urban renewal program to revitalize the downtown area. It's slow progress, but we're working with entrepreneurs to spruce up buildings, to attract businesses and industry. And it's slow and steady, but as they say, that wins the race. So that economic development is the big goal over the next, and working with the county to improve public safety, because in my region of the state, our counties are very cash-strapped, and it's resulted in a policy of the counties of essentially a revolving door in the jails. And so, working with our county commissioners and our sheriff, I hope that we can actually increase the investment in our jail so we can keep the citizens of the entire county safer. So public safety and economic development are the big goal.
Well, and it's important to have that public safety to attract economic development, because businesses don't want to be in an area where they don't feel they have that initial safety.
Well, exactly. And the funny thing is, though, Coquille was ranked one of the top 5 safest communities in the state. I'm very proud of that. Despite the challenges with the county jail, we're safer than a number of other cities by far, because when you've got, you know, 242 cities in the state of Oregon, to be in the top 5 is pretty darn good.
It really is. That's a big selling point.
Exactly. And so part of that is also, though, realizing as a mayor, you need to partner with you need to work with your community partners, and that's your Chamber of Commerce, your community groups, civic organizations, senior organizations, and also work with your county collaboratively and work with your school district and your health districts, because our goal, we need to all work together to set the best table possible. You know, going back to economic development, you know, it's sort of like the old story, you know, you can set the table, but you can't make them eat, you know, but we're going to set the best table we can. And so I've worked very aggressively to create an attitude of hospitality, of welcoming business and investment into the community, and trying to encourage more of that investment. And so that's, again, the big goals: public safety and economic development.
Well, I wish you the best with that. Thank you for joining us on
Thank
the
you.
set.
Thank you.
Good luck with your next term, and thank you for watching. I'm Dana Cowley. This is Charter Local Edition Northwest.